Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Deborah. I want to talk to you today about what happens when we believe that our self-worth is directly attributed to what we achieve out in the world. So we end up going out in the world and working really hard to try and achieve the best relationship, the best house, the best job, the best of everything, so that we can feel within us, we can feel worthy. What happens when we do that? Well, one of the things that happens is we move about as far away from the truth of who we are, our own spirituality, that you can possibly go. And everything that I like to explore here is how do we bring ourselves back to that knowing, to that understanding, so that we can actually see that truly understanding who we are, exploring that, looking in the direction of our spirituality, actually results in the things that we desire out in the world, these things, these achievements actually coming to us much more easily. You can look at it like this in one sense. I'm here sat in this room making this video and there's a door in the corner. I am perfectly capable of getting up out of this chair, walking to that door, opening the door and walking through it. Now, what if I were to put on myself that if I did that, something terrible was going to happen to the person I loved the most in the world? Immediately, my head would start churning and I would start not trusting myself to be able to get up out of my chair, to walk to the door without falling over, without, will I do it right? Will the handle work right? All of this kinds of thinking would start to come up, and it would become something that is well within my capabilities, would become very difficult to achieve. And basically that is what we do to ourselves when we believe that our self-worth is related to the achievements that we have out in the world. Because who you truly are, our spirituality is the true reality. The spiritual being that we are, the one being that is creating all of this, that's the truth of who we are. And we can't lose anything. We can't become in that reality, in the true reality, we cannot become any less than we are. We equally can't become any more than we are. So anything we achieve doesn't add to us, and anything that we don't achieve doesn't take from us. We are already whole and complete. Fundamentally, that is who we are and what is going on here. That's the truth. And when we begin to see that, a little bit like, when I'm sitting here and I know that I am perfectly capable of doing that, it is really easy to do. When I doubt myself, when I put barriers in my way of doing it, it becomes more and more difficult. So this idea that when we have a desire, which is a perfectly natural thing, I love being human. It's great here being here and being human, and it is great creating amazing relationships. I'm creating my YouTube channel, I'm creating a business, I work with clients, I have my grown-up children, I have my grandchildren, I've bought a plot of land and I'm building a house. I'm excited by the creation of it. But if I get into my head and believe that if any of those things don't go the way I think they should, or the way that I believe that other people potentially judge that they should, if I believe that there is any connection to my self-worth, those things suddenly become difficult. I don't feel good at all. And that feeling in my body, that knowing, isn't telling me that the thing that I'm trying to do is hard, which is how I used to interpret it and how a lot of people interpret it, and then push harder. What it's telling me is I am misunderstanding something fundamental about who I am. I'm having a thought about who I am that simply isn't true, that's taking me away from flow, that's taking me away from the truth of this life. And when I come back, when I drop that thought, when I come back to a remembering of who I am, when I connect back in with my spiritual nature, I can once again just do the next thing that needs to be doing and potentially achieve exactly what it is that I want. I know sometimes one of the things that I am hugely interested in, potentially hear that in this video, is creation. You know, as human beings, how it is that we create the relationships that we have, our wealth and our health. How is it that we create that? And obviously we do things out in the world, but as I said at the beginning of this video, our spirituality is the true reality. There is one source of everything that is here in this world, whether that is your health, whether it is your wealth, whether that is how you connect to others, your relationships. All of that comes from this one same source. And when we begin to misunderstand that, which is what we are doing when we are putting our self-worth onto what we achieve, we have misunderstood where everything comes from. When we come back to a realization of there is one source of all of those things, and when we connect into, when we get curious about, when we learn to understand how that one source works through us, how it is we are here having a human experience, and how that human experience happens, when we begin to understand that, that's when things really begin to turn around. And that was my lived experience when I was in a really unhealthy relationship, and then I got out of that relationship and began to see that I had put my self-worth on the line with this. I had believed that if this person didn't love me, then I wasn't worthy. I didn't realize that I could give that love to myself. I didn't realize that I already came 100% self-worth full. There was nothing that could add to that self-worth. I didn't realize that, and because I believed the thoughts that told me that if I wasn't a certain way, then I wasn't worth as much, I had to keep trying to achieve something with these huge great barriers in my way so that I could feel good. And that will never ever work. I could have gone as far in that direction, and I did go pretty far in that direction. I could have continued in that direction as far as it was possible to go, and I would never have achieved the feeling that I wanted to create. And what I have seen in all my travels and all my delving deeply into the three principles, into the work of Byron Katie, into Eckhart Tolle, into the work of Abraham Hicks, Neville Goddard, and many, many spiritual teachers, what I have really seen is by looking in that direction and going deeply in that direction, I have really, really seen that we already get here whole and complete. We can have these things. We can play in this creation called life. We are here to be successful. We are here to thrive. We are here to do that. We can work out how this works. We are programmable. A lot of the reasons, the reason that we would believe that our self-worth was connected to what we achieve is through programming that we have picked up. We have picked up that programming. We can reprogram ourselves differently to be more in keeping with who we want to be. We can play in that arena. Absolutely, and it is so much fun. We can learn so much about ourselves and this brilliant mind that we have been gifted. And one of the ways that I do that is with these conversations. So please feel free, if you are watching this and you have an area in your life where you are not as successful as you would like to be, you're curious about any of these teachings that I have delved really, really deeply into, ask me any questions. I am more than happy to share. I'm more than happy to openly have this conversation, because I know it is going to benefit all of us. And each one of us has certain things that we really resonate with. One of the things that I see, I had a religious upbringing. I'm not a religious person, but I do love the teachings of the Bible. And what I see, one of the follies of the religion that I was a part of, and I can only speak from my own experience, but I have spoken to other people who have similar and the same experiences, is that The religion believed that they had the one and only way to truth, and then believed that anyone who wasn't a part of that religion couldn't possibly know truth. What I have really seen from my own experience in this arena and looking in this direction for myself is there are many ways that each of us come to the truth. There is one being here that is creating all of this, but there are so many aspects. We are each an individual aspect of that one being, and in our individual experience we resonate with different things. Different things come alive in us, different things wake us up and excite us, and that is not a mistake. You know, what you love, what resonates with you, what you are curious about, follow that. That is your calling. That is, you will thrive if you do that and truly do that. My business is called Dare to Be You, and one of the other things that I see when we have our self-worth connected to what we achieve, it is really, really difficult to get into the flow of following our own inner nudges and our own inner knowing. We get really scared about being judged by ourselves and being judged by other people, and that stops us being ourselves out in the world. So this invitation today, off the back of this video, is to really contemplate this idea of being absolutely whole and complete and totally worthy, no matter what you achieve or what you don't achieve. Because when we really reach that, when we have a knowing within us, an insight that wakes that up within us, when we know that, we can play full out in achieving whatever it is we want to achieve without being fearful of, what if this doesn't work? What if I don't achieve it? We don't have to protect ourselves from that failure, supposed failure, and we don't have to hide from the fact that that is what we want to do. We can go all out. And when you see people who do achieve great things, they're absolutely in a space of seeing their own worth irrelevant of whether this works out or not. Because when we do things out in the world, some things simply aren't going to work. But when we know that that absolutely means nothing about us, and we can just get up and go again and get up and go again and continually connect back to this knowing within ourselves of our true worth, that is a whole new way of being out in the world. And I would really invite you to get curious and look in this direction until you have some real insights around that. If you enjoy my videos, I'm going to invite you to subscribe, to like, and to comment, to ask any questions. I love making these videos, and I'm very, very happy to explore this together. Take care, have a great day, lots of love.